Good morning, Lions Pride. It's me, your host, Smokkin Jeremy B, and I am joined by the one and only Von Doom this morning. We're going to go over the safety room, little Kindle Vildor contract details are out, and it's nowhere near as much as everybody thought it was. I had a great weekend. I took a social media free weekend for a day. I just needed to separate myself and center myself, do what I had to do. How are you today, Von Doom?
I am pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm not going to complain about anything today. Life's too short to complain.
Amen, brother. Got a couple chats in there. Let's see what we got going on. Ah. And of course, we did have a rookie prospect get arrested for a DWI over the weekend. It's going to be a great day. It's the start of the work week. I actually got to work today.
You.
Yeah, that's what I said. On to the intro.
Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy Sutton.
That's right. It's me, Smokin Jeremy B, and Von Doom in the house. You know,
In the
everybody
yard.
thinks we don't have anybody in the safety room, but they're forgetting Brian Branch is actually a safety. That explains why we're signing a lot of guys that would be considered slot corners right now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Amik Robertson is only the size of a slot corner. He plays like he's 6'2", like Peanut Tillman.
That guy's got some fucking hops on him. He can tackle, and he's always punching at the ball.
You notice the reference I said. He plays like
I know.
And he may not be Cameron Wake 2.0, but I'm just saying the ceiling is there for that. You know what I'm saying? It really depends on where we line him up. If we line him up more as a Sam linebacker or a Will linebacker on the outside where he'll be on his own, he may have the same type of production he had in the CFL.
Maybe. Like, he's fast. I'll give him that. He's got decent hand pop, but he doesn't have a rip move. He doesn't have a swim. He doesn't have a spin. He's just all bull rush. And majority of his sacks this year, if you look at it, he just ran right around the freaking tackle. I didn't even touch him. Like, really?
He's got a great burst, good first step, and he gets around. He has a good change of direction skill for a medium to big size linebacker. You know what I'm saying? That's what helps him the most. And one funky Smoking Dad in the house. Fred Peterson noticing that you're sun tanning.
I was doing yard work, my man.
He goes, and Amik Robinson's numbers are better outside than a nickel. And it's true. You slimmed down a little bit over the winter. You didn't get as much of the winter fat as you normally do.
Nope.
Must have been all that light lifting. Prior to Pepsi.
Talking about light lifting. What was I doing? Playing with myself?
Yeah, exactly. But the safety room's not as depleted as everybody thinks it is. We lost some top heavy talent, but the talent wasn't that good, in my opinion. You lose a hype man in CJGJ or CD Deuce or Chauncey Gardner Johnson, whatever you want to call him. Tracy Walker was exactly what he always had been. Not that great in coverage, great in the box tackler, but he had a beef with Aaron Glenn midway through the season, and that's why we got to see if Ife Melifonwu was the guy. And guess what? He kind of is.
Like, if he's not your guy that's going to sit out there and be your deep cover safety, but you're going to put him in the box, he's going to tackle, he's going to blitz the quarterback, and he'll get a pick or two here or there.
And look at this. Fred says, Jesus bearded Brock Lesnar.
I wish I was that big.
Right.
Except I like being able to wipe my ass. So
Mateus Longoria, you're absolutely right. If Mosley stays healthy, it's a big if. But if he does, I think our secondary will be better than most think. And that's the biggest if on the roster. If Mosley can stay healthy, because for 2 seasons, he hasn't.
and Davis has a little injury history to himself. That's why I truly feel in the draft they need to at least add one or two corners to give some depth in that room.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm not saying they both got to be early. Hype man, someone will step up and fill those shoes. It doesn't take a special player to be a mouth. Absolutely. Um, if he led more by what he put on the field during those 6 games he started, if you look at it, he looks like that type of leader. Kind of like uh, Glover Quinn was a quiet leader like that. He wasn't as vocal. That's the type of
Yeah, but
player I'm
you
seeing
do
out
need
of
that mouthpiece on the team too, though.
Oh yeah, and I'm quite sure we have it, because guess who else was very mouthy while he was healthy and playing good?
Who?
Mo- Mosley was a shit talker. When he was playing good, he let those wide receivers know it.
What was that for? Like the 4 plays he played this year?
No, no, no. I'm talking about prior to his injury to San Francisco. Ricky Sagat says, "Damn, Leonard, you look like you could play linebacker for us. You've been in the weight room, bro." I told you what he's been doing. That light lifting, about 30 strokes per hand.
It's toning.
Yeah, he's been toning up. The bulk was always there. So that was evil. Smoking Dad says, at 52 degrees, Californians are wearing snowmobile suits. Here in winter states, 52 degrees is t-shirt and shorts weather.
Dude, it's like 47 out here right now. I'm in white beater and a pair of freaking shorts.
I know. I'm wearing this top, this hat, and my shorts to work today. Easiest day to get ready for work I've had. Fred Peterson says, I've been working on my pod as well, 12-ounce curls at a time. Now, granted, it's the reason why his shoulders really haven't edged out as good as it was, because it's mostly all bicep and forearm, because they're just 3-inch strokes.
You're being generous there, man.
I was trying to give you some credit, bro.
Dude.
I know when Mrs. Leonard says 12 inches and make her bleed, you poke her 4 times and punch her in the mouth.
Dude, my shoulders will never end up getting big again, though, man. I have that herniated disc in the neck there, and I tore everything up in the shoulders, so it's all freaking just nerve damage and freaking scar tissue up there now.
So let's see. In the safety room alone, you have to throw Brian Branch in there, because Dan Campbell's already said he's going to be playing more snaps at safety this year. So you got Brian Branch, if you got Melabaumu and Kirby Joseph as the main guys. Your backups, I think right now leading the charge out of what's on the practice squad, it's Brendan Joseph, the kid out of Notre Dame, who also at one time was considered a first-round draft pick. And then you got Brady Breeze, the special teamer contributor.
So,
My
Cooper
dad,
DeJean's the answer, right?
my Cooper DeJohn is the answer. My dad said, "Shit, shoot, a quarter-inch less and I'd be a girl."
He's got nanny.
And Paul Jones comes in and says, "Happy Apocalypse Day."
Is everyone ready for the rapture? Everybody kissed their asses, and everybody needed to be
I said my prayers and I said, if we survive this, I hope I can get to continue my prayer. I say every day, Lord, I hope my haters are praying for my failure, and I hope they hold their breath so I can watch them suffocate as I thrive. I'll talk about that in a minute here. So we actually have 5 safeties on the roster if you include the practice squad guys, and more than likely, Mateus Longoria. That is a very great point because believe it or not, Rodriguez, his first 3 years in college, was a safety for Oklahoma State. He actually is fast enough. He has that 4.5-ish speed.
does he have the ball skills though?
He actually had 6 interceptions years, so he's better than Tracy Walker. I know it ain't saying much, but I'm just saying it there. But what happened was he was also in wrestling, and he was at that tweener weight where he didn't have a weight class, so he had to gain weight, and that's how he got up to the 230 points. As long as we have breath, there's still a chance. And Ricky Scott said, "Fucking Josh Reynolds cost me $50 on Madden yet." No, I'm 100% glad he's gone. I'm with you, JB, that bastard.
Dude, Ricky showed me the clip of that, and like, yo, he 100% Josh Reynolds did. It hit the hands. It just no, nobody near him. Just drop it because you suck.
Kind of like the one that hit him in the hands on the second fourth down throw that was like a perfect pass right into the biscuit. Fred Peterson. Um, Malcolm Rodriguez has to be considered somewhat a mini steal in that draft because of how well he's played at every position they've put him at on this roster so far.
You should just let him fucking play one position. Just let him play. God damn it, he's better than Derek Barnes. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say.
Yeah, it's just that when Rodrigo got hurt, 17 days away from all the fun. Absolutely. It is April 8th. Safety may be our focus, like Branch at nickel corner. So if a stud safety, I think we should grab Cooper DeJean, the guy that is fast enough and athletic enough to play outside cornerback, but he's actually a really good safety. If he's there at 29 and you had the choice between reaching back, but I still say Cooper Beebe's the best guard in this draft. I'm going to say that as long as I have a breath in my body. But if Cooper DeJean is there, you have to grab him because of his versatility. Safety, corner. He played wide receiver in high school, punt and kick returns. He does all of that. He had one called back because you know how when you're setting up and you're trying to direct your blockers to the direction you're going, so you sweep across the front of your body. Big Ten officials said that he waved a fair catch and called it off, but the play never got blown dead. They didn't blow the whistle when he caught it. He actually ran through and had a 95-yard kick return touchdown that was waved off because of it. NGT NJTC01 Von Doom's praise always comes with a complaint. Rodrigo and Barnes are both valuable, as they are. Sweat partying
Hey,
like no,
always
he
come
wasn't
with a complaint.
a little
I
kid.
wasn't complaining. I was just saying he's better than Barnes. Let him play. Sheesh. Barnes gets no praise from me because he bounced off Dak Prescott like a fly hitting a wall.
you know, Steve, there is lots of rumors with every team around right now about trading up. So until it happens, and they really don't announce draft trades until draft day, we can all just sit here and have all those rumors and wants in one hand and crap in the other, and you tell me which one fills up first. That is why I'm not a rumors guy. But yes, Devondre Sweat went out partying, got arrested for a DWI, and everybody's saying, oh, his stock's going to drop. It's going to be like a free fall. But we all forget that last year, prior to the combine, there was a stud defensive tackle being praised all over the place, saying that he's a generational talent. And he walked away from a car crash he caused that killed a teammate and still was picked in the top 10 because he was racing his car. So until I see them drop, I don't expect them to drop. He's still considered right around 35th to 44th as a prospect. I think Devondre Sweat's game film is what'll save him. He'll still be a second round pick at worst. I don't take any rumors seriously. Zero stock in them. Remember the major rumors this year was Snead to Detroit. It didn't happen. When he went through that week saying Diggs was coming, also didn't happen. And now one of the Lions podcasters is saying we're trading our day one and some of our day two picks to go get Patrick Surtain. Paul Jones says we are overloaded on D line, but not at talent. I agree with you. We have way too many guys in the room, and if we bring one in, that means somebody's got to go. And right now, there isn't anybody that clears cap really, other than James Houston. But why are you going to get rid of a guy that his first year looked like the best pass rusher we've seen in a long time for the amount of snaps he played? Uh, but Brady Breeze contributes on special teams, so we got that guy. There's a couple of guys that they could bulk up or whatever. Uh, DUI and DWI, it depends on what state you're in and what it means. They're virtually the same thing to me. And I don't know all the details, and I don't want to get into the details. Basically, you were drunk and disorderly behind the wheel of a vehicle. That's the way I look at it. I gotta hop off camera for a second. Philadelphia and the Raiders could put together a starting lineup for their longest yard movie. You could also throw in the Chiefs if you think about it. Speaking of which, there is something we never even thought about on why Sheila. No, he was just pulled over. But why Sheila cut Cam Sutton immediately? Remember, Sheila actually took over the team in the 2020 season, the last year for Boob Quinn and Matt Patricia. And so, right before Thanksgiving, there was an altercation between Marvin Hall and his girlfriend, and he got a domestic violence OYR ticket for slapping his girlfriend. So, what did she do right after that report hit the blotter that weekend after the Thanksgiving Day game? After she fired Bob Quinn and she fired Matt Patricia, she
Shut
cut
his ass.
Marvin Hall. So anytime there's domestic violence, ever since then, every contract has a clause that falls under conduct unbecoming the team policy. That is why we cleared the guaranteed money already. That just get paid out. Why she's trying to void the contract is to avoid the $7.5 million dead cap hit that's more than the total of the contract. We are still on the hook for 3.5 million about what it is after signing bonuses and all that stuff. We're on the hook for that because he was on the roster at that bonus time. So at
Yep.
that so If it doesn't go through, that basically makes that 10.5 void. There's no gain, there's no loss. I hope that makes things more clear about it. But because of the way she words her contracts, and she includes domestic violence as one of those clauses, I think it can still get approved, despite it getting lowered as a misdemeanor because of the wording of the contract. But it still has to be approved by the NFL. And the NFL has been getting stricter on domestic violence. So at the same time, we can all say, oh, it's just a misdemeanor. They're not going to do anything. They probably will. But you won't hear anything till June 1st. That's my prediction. Because right now is a very busy time at the NFL offices. And Mr. Goodell, I wish you could hurry up and let the South Florida Tribune know if we have press credentials or not. I'm not wrong.
Somebody got their chickens outside.
NFL would be petty if we could avoid it. I agree. Do you remember one of our linebackers' dads got murdered in a domestic? Oh God, that was a while ago. I can't remember the name, but yes. I don't think they even care about the monies at this point. Took our losses and moved on. And then Ricky asked us a question real quick. JB and Dan would love to hear both of your opinions. If the Lions could have gotten Diggs at the same deal Texans got him, would you have traded a second next year for him? It seems Buffalo got fleeced.
Me? Not a chance in hell. While he's a great wide receiver, he's a freaking head case at the same time and cries when he doesn't get the ball enough. He's not a team player. And look at what his contract is. How much that's guaranteed? I think he's getting like 20.3 this year.
It's not that anymore. They restructured his contract so he can be a free agent after this season. His cap hit this year is down to 3.5 million.
Ooh.
So they literally said, "Hey, you're on the team. You are a part of the team. You are a talent. We need you. But guess what? If you don't clean up, you're not going to be here next year."
I don't think they needed him.
I don't think they needed him either. I mean, they still got Noah Brown for one more year. They got Nico Collins still on his rookie contract for another year, correct? And then they
Tank
got
Devils coming back.
3 years.
They still got John Mechie too.
John Mechie, I believe, was a 1 year deal off the practice squad. It wasn't an actual no, it is
He
a
was
contract,
dude. He was a first round pick, I believe.
not first. John Mechie was a second or third rounder at the latest. And I think he
Hang
got taken off the team for medicals and re-signed to the practice squad on an RFA deal or an ERFA, which is exclusive right.
Second round. I'm sorry.
Von Doom scores. He's absolutely right about Diggs. He's never a team player. Wide receivers are full of divas. So they're getting the very best they can out of him. He must perform if he wants to bag this offseason. Houston did all the right steps. I would have done it personally if I was if I was Detroit. He's an upgrade over Reynolds for sure.
Dude, yes, talent wise, he's an upgrade over Reynolds, absolutely. But mentally, he's an asshole.
Xavier Hutchinson too, and that's another rumor that I've heard, but I've seen nothing. See, every presser, I get a quote sheet emailed to me from Alan Park for every presser. I don't have to be there right now, but I want to be. But until I have press credentials, I can't. Because I have questions that I'd like to ask as a fan that fans would like to know the answers to. And I think it would be just a different outlook than the normal media trained people. And Paul Jones says his talent isn't worth losing development on our own guys. He'd be a cancer spreading into our guys. That is exactly where I'm at with it. Plus, we have to think last year, Green was starting to build a little bit of a rapport with Goff because he was taking snaps at the one over Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds in the offseason. And then they just, after the preseason, and they didn't really practice him with Goff anymore. After, they did it in camp, they didn't do it during preseason. That connection was gone. And Green is one of those guys that is really speedy and has the same problem that Josh Reynolds had over 25 yards, that JMO had over 25 yards, that Khalif Raymond had over 25 yards,
Ooh, is that noodle arm Goff can't get the ball to him?
because over 25 yards, they have to track it down. And the only one that shows the tracking down skills to catch it is Jamison Williams, because he's fast enough to slow down and actually turn and get to it before the other guys react. Braylon Dennis, I broke that at the very beginning. And I after we signed DJ Reader, we really don't need him because we have a big bodied guy that can develop into him behind Reader. Braylon Dennis goes, oh. But Kendall Vildor, the contract he got is actually right on par with what he deserved as far as I'm concerned. $1.152 million cap hit. That's after signing bonus, people. Mike Fisher, as much as Brandon Dan talk about fit and culture, I knew Diggs wasn't coming here for any pick. Absolutely, Mike Fisher. We could trade that 29th pick for a few top tier wide receiver. I mean, some really, really good wide receivers. Well, don't forget, we still have Quentin Bohama. We have Chris Smith of Notre Dame. All guys that were very productive in spots in their college and their short NFL careers. So we still have plenty of depth in the DT room. Orlando Escobar Jr., Decker trade bait I'm reading. Oh, that's poppycock. Holmes' biggest mistake as a new GM has been to think that the Lions culture could change people, that it could bring salvation to sinners, if only. Is Boyd still a free agent? I've seen the Villain Squad main page keep saying like Lions like him a lot. Who runs that page, by the way? That would be Russell Wayne Metler, uh, Football Talk 365 guy, creator. And
I
Mike
think it's
Fisher,
clickbait.
you're absolutely right. I think Brad would rather draft a guy. He's talked about this. He goes, even the trades he's made are guys just to fill a stopgap. He likes to draft guys and develop them to this team. Think about it. We got 22 out of 23 draft picks still on this roster because Chase Lucas was given a tender that the Lions didn't want to match because honestly, he's not worth it. Yep, too many good wide receivers in this draft to pay a vet. That's a very good point. I mean, you don't really see a drop off of talent till you get to what, fourth round? A big drop off. I'm
A
saying.
big drop off? You see a big drop off after the top 10.
Mm,
Then you get your.
you get past the first and second round, there really isn't a talent drop off until you get almost to the fifth round. I'm just saying, you got those guys that are good. Most fans love a proven wide receiver. But guess what? We took DJ Shark. That didn't work out. We're not bringing him back either. You want Coleman? I want a Donnie Mitchell because he would be exactly what Josh Reynolds is: fast enough to get there, makes contested catches. The only thing he doesn't do is block, and we teach guys how to block.
I want Roman Dunze.
For the Giants, I don't blame you. The hell, Roman Wilson, a third rounder.
Watch
No,
him go high second.
he's going to go late first, early second. Watch, he's going to go like probably by pick 42 is what I'm guessing. I know about how many more home runs we think we're going to hit in the draft. Good
Man,
morning, all from Dwayne Keene with his usual statement. Yeah, no on Shark. Guy has 2 healthy seasons, and one of them he didn't even get close to 1,000 yards. I'm out on him.
Yep. Now, he just said that question about how many home runs in the draft. You know, you don't need any real skill position players on offense. Everybody else is just going to be a guy that's going to fill a role right now. So I don't think you're looking for that home run guy that's going to be, oh my God, amazing. You're looking for a guy that's going to fit the team properly and just be able to rotate right in.
Yep. If you look, his home run draft was the first draft and last year. Because say what you want, Jack Campbell's a solid starter. He may not be great, but he could develop into something great. I said solid, not great.
I don't hate Jack Campbell. I hate where Jack Campbell was drafted. That's it.
I understand, but at the same time, if you flip the first and second rounds in exactly where everybody was picked, nobody would be bitching right now. That means Branch would have won at 12, Laporta would have won at 18, Jack Campbell would have been at 32, and Gibbs would have been at 45. I'm just saying, if you look at it and just flipped it as it sits, whoop,
Or if you just flipped Laporta and Campbell, I'd be fine. Or Campbell and Branch, I'd have been fine.
it's actually easier to hit a home run now because we don't have need. Yes, that's my point. And NJTC 01 actually responded to what I said about Brad Holmes and how he runs the team. You're absolutely right about drafting. Holmes believes in the O'Malley way. If you sign Koufax because he's a good kid, then you have to have the patience to see the talent find itself.
I'll agree with that.
Brian Stover. I just want a receiver that doesn't think it's funny when he drops a pass. He goes, people are busy.
Always.
Trading up with such a young squad isn't horrible. We don't have too many holes, and giving up next year's first wouldn't be devastating. I think in all actuality, if trading up cost you an additional 4 to 10 million this year, I say trade back, make the cap hit even less. Because if just say if the NFL's petty and doesn't void the Sutton contract, you have more picks and less money invested. Right now, the cap hit is right about 8 million for all the picks because we picked at 29 and we got rid of the extra third rounder. Best player available, trade, and more picks. He agrees, trade back. Leonard's been saying trade back this entire time at 29 because
Mhm.
if you're able to trade back into that 33 to 45 range, there's really not a drop off of talent from what there is at 29.
Yep. You can drop back that far, pick up extra picks, and still grab Cooper Beebe. Or pick up an extra third, too. Don't grab Beebe. Grab freaking the best player available there. And then in the third round, grab Mason McCormick from South Dakota State.
That 2014-15 defense, we had a very solid to very good linebacker in Stephen Tulloch. And DeAndre Levy was talked about as one of the best linebackers in the league at that time. So, yes, we had a very good one. He just had a short career, which is why you won't see him in the Hall of Fame. If the boards are correct, who knows what GM's like? Absolutely. And we've already seen, yep, last year, Brad said they gave first round grades to 15 guys. You know, and in all actuality, the draft experts on the big talking heads on TV, they had a first round grade on 42 guys.
Ooh.
I'm just saying we don't know what's coming. And
Let's go. Let's grade people tonight, man. Fuck.
I actually bought my first grading book, and I kind of agree with where they're at. You want to know why? Guess who they have as the 13th best corner in this draft?
Sandistra. No?
Someone I said has been overrated by everybody because they keep putting them in the top 10 corners. And it's Rake a straw.
Oh. Dude, the only person that fucking wants him is David Price. So who fucking cares?
I know. At 5, they may not need to trade up for a wide receiver. They're going to end up with whoever the Cardinals don't take. That means they're getting
Or
1A or 1B, or they're going to trade back.
either that, or they're going to take an offensive line because they really need one.
See, in Braylon Dennis, you're making my point for me. Most teams that trade up to get needs, we don't have a lot of needs on this roster.
Also, think of it like this: the teams that are predicted to trade up, Raiders, Vikings, not many more are predicted right now to trade up. But the ones that are trading up are going for quarterbacks.
Right.
So the players that you want that are going to benefit your team are going to fall even further down the board. So you can get somebody to fall right in your lap without moving a goddamn spot.
You know, here's the things that people trade up for, and I've watched, and we've seen it last year. You trade up for 3 positions: quarterback, wide receiver, D line, and occasionally an O lineman. That's the 4 main ones. Lions don't have to disclose Michigan visits. I hope we get at least one. We've had 6.
You just want those fucking Michigan players, man. Come on. Most of them aren't that good.
And of course, the guy that says, "Hey, Dad," all the time. I don't know who he is, but it's great. I love it. Yes, I got Mountain Dew, but I'm drinking coffee right now. So there.
It's cold out now. What the fuck? The sun went away.
That's exactly what happens when it's warm out. The sun goes away, you get cold. Women walking around with tank tops and no bra start to cut their windshields on accident.
Right?
Yes. You already mentioned. Oh, okay. No, sorry, Ricky Sakata. I thought it was Orlando. National champs, but not good. I didn't say they weren't good. Why do you put words in my mouth?
I did. I said most of them aren't that good. They were on a good team with a collective of talent. None of those players on that team stood out like, oh my God, we're amazing. They were just in the right place with the right system around them, the right teammates. Take all those guys, separate them. How many of them are actually going to show out and still look like stars?
And let's talk about the personal visits, because you get your interviews and then you get your personal visits with scouts, correct? Guess you turned down every personal visit to work out with teams.
Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's the one I was going for.
Well, I'm sorry. Williams said he'd only do for the Bears.
Right. Williams wants to be number 1 overall. He's a diva.
Harrison's probably hurt right now. But you know what? He doesn't need to work out for him. His game tape speaks for itself. The medical is what worries me. If you would disclose medical to the team, it'd be a different story. Okay, those guys you just said right there. Great. Okora, I'll give Okora good. How many of these other guys are going to have a good freaking career? Probably not many of them.
And it really depends on the fit where they go. That's what everybody realizes or is forgetting about. You can be talented as hell, but if you go to the wrong team, you're not going to be good. Let's go back to picking Kyle Van Noy, a 3-4 linebacker in a 4-3 defense. He didn't look okay at all, but the very first year he's on a 3-4 defense, he's a Pro Bowler.
No, I agree, and I'm not trying to shit on the entire Michigan team because they were a great team. They're just not great individuals, is what I'm saying.
Right. We also have to consider the coaching. Offensive lineman, dude, Joe Moore, guys. Yeah, I know. I'm a Michigan slappy when it comes to rooting for them, but I'm not a Michigan slappy when I'm looking for NFL talent. That's where I'm at. How many great, other than Tom Brady, Chad Henne as a backup quarterback, Jake Long for 2 years until he got hurt, Tim Biakabatuka had an okay career at running back. Who else has been great other
Charles
than
Woodson.
Charles Woodson? I just was saying it.
Huh.
I agree on most of that, but Will Johnson could stand out on just about any team. I agree on others like Forum. I could be wrong.
So it's different though. Bama and Georgia don't draft team. They don't fucking go and recruit guys for a team. They go and recruit the best possible individual prospects. They don't give a shit about them as a team. They think the talent's going to win with them. And you know what? It worked for years. Michigan did it a different way.
And why was he the Super Bowl MVP? Because he was a great returner, not because he was a great wide receiver. Desmond Howard was help me out here.
I don't know your thought process on this.
The Hall of Fame returner for Chicago.
Devin Hester.
Was Devin Hester before Devin Hester existed?
Except there's no other Devin Hester. He's the greatest returner of all time.
I don't know.
And he had the greatest nicknames of all time. In Miami, he was Hurricane Hester. In Chicago, he was the Windy City Flyer.
I just I don't get it. Steve Preston never really impressed in the NFL. Braylon Edwards was good for a minute and then had a drop off. Leon Hall, great zone corner. What Sanders are you talking about? Because Barry Sanders wasn't a Michigan guy.
Oh, he was an Oklahoma State guy.
Right. Bob Sanders wasn't either.
I loved Bob Sanders too. He
Yeah.
just played so violent, his body just couldn't take it.
Ty Law had a great career. Yes, he did. Playing for one of the best defensive minds in the NFL.
I like Ty Law too, though.
I would trade the entire draft for Hester in the new kickoff formation.
Yes. Absolutely. In a heartbeat.
And here's the other thing. We've got a college returner who had that type of look to him on this roster, and everybody forgets about him being that. Jamison Williams.
Dude, trust me, I watched a ton of tape on Williams in college and all that. Yes, he's a good returner. He does not have the vision that Devin Hester had.
No,
and I don't think anybody's had the from 0 to 100 that fast.
You dropped right out in the middle of this.
Yeah, which makes no sense. I said that I don't think anybody has ever had the acceleration that Devin Hester's had.
Oh, no. I mean, his 10-yard split was redonkulous. But at the same time, I'm just saying 1 out of every 5 kickoff returns that Jamison Williams had went to the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty amazing stat. The only guy in the NFL that has that stat is Devin Hester. That's an amazing stat. And in this formation, he could be that type. Not saying as good, he could be that type of guy.
The only thing I don't like about the new formation is your returner's going to get all that running room. So are the defensive guys, though. So you're all going to build speed. So when you do get hit, it's going to be a car wreck.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And with the new rules, kneecaps are going to get blowed out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because the thigh is the safest place to tackle anybody. Say what you want. The thigh is where they're aiming. Everybody's going to be going low from now on, but not below the knee. Maurice Alexander is good, but he's never been 1 for 5. But
you know who could Worthy could probably freaking excel with that new kickoff formation.
That's the other thing. But I'm not using a first-round pick on a guy that could end up just being a kick and punt returner.
With those rules, I just might, honestly. Hell, you got a great punter. Just waiting for the kickoffs and then punt the damn ball.
Right. And with the new rules, if they kick it short of the 20, it comes out to the 40. If it goes out Kirby biting kneecaps for real, real for real. Yes, that's what I've been getting at. Man, it
Dirty.
was a great weekend overall, guys. And well, I'm not ignoring you. Yes, I saw you were in the chat, just that we were in the middle of the discussion.
Good morning, Will.
Did you floss the butt chin yet? Oh, that being said, I'm looking forward to this season. And yes, the rest of the NFC North is getting better. But when you're at the top, you kind of just maintain or try to get a little better. And we got 100% better on defense by subtraction.
I hate that line so much.
Am I wrong, though?
Yes.
I'm wrong about losing Will Harris and Benito Jones. We didn't get better by subtraction.
No, they didn't play anyway.
Uh, Burrito Jones played 602 snaps and had 6 impactful plays all season.
That can't be right. Okay. He had to have a couple stops on runs and shit like that.
He did. He had 2 tackles for loss. He had 2 sacks on accident because the one he was pushed into the quarterback, which I thought was hilarious. It wasn't because he was athletic. It's because the guy had to push him down before he got a holding call. And that's nuts to me that he got shoved into the guy's own quarterback. And then he had the fumble recovery. So that's 5. I'm trying to remember the 6th one. Oh wait, it was 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. That's it. That's all he had all season. And a bunch of tackles around the line or 5 yards down the field because when he was being blocked, he was wrapped up like a hot tortilla. Simple quiz. Who do you want gone from the current roster?
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, pretty much. Man, I was thinking our O-line was going to be worse after Jonah left, but man, did we definitely upgraded his spot and at a way cheaper price than Jonah got. Jonah got that money because he's young. But Zietler, if you look at his market value, according to Over the Cap, is $17 million a year, the exact same money that Jonah Jackson got.
His age is why he didn't get that money.
His age is why he didn't take that money, and plus he went to a team that's a contender.
But I do still say, even though you got him, you brought back Glasgow, you draft 2 guards in this draft.
Yeah. You either draft 2 guards or you draft a guard and a center who can play guard.
Outside of Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm not the hugest fan of any of the centers in this draft. I like Beebe. I like Dylan McMahon. I like Mason McCormick. Mason McCormick?
Joseph Austin. Kevin Zietler is a road grader. He's rated better at run blocking than Jonah.
But he was also a third-rated pass blocker in the guard position the past 3 years.
I'm just saying, in the 5th round, if we took a stab, because we don't have a 4th round pick unless we trade back. That's why I want to trade back. There's some really good talent in the 4th round this year. At the 5th round, if we were to take a stab at a guy that didn't go to the combine, there isn't a lot of tape, but he has a good pro caliber type of guard position. If Dylan McMahon isn't there, you go that Ladarius Henderson from Michigan. He's got great game film, and he's a road grader.
It's a very deep offensive line draft, and it really is.
Zinter will be a late 3rd, early 4th at the latest. I don't see him going to the 5th.
Quit being a homer.
I'm not being a homer on Zinter.
Not you, the other guy that wants him so bad. No kidding right there.
Aaron Glenn was far from perfect in that second half of the San Francisco game. Ortolini's good from Wisconsin. Limmer, he's okay.
Okay. Their tackles I like a lot in this draft. They can play inside too. But right there, what you're saying about this, Goff and Glenn
Wait,
are never going to get any forgiveness for having to work through mediocre talent for years. For one, I just shit on Goff because I don't like his freaking arm. He has baby hands. Other than that, he's a pretty solid quarterback. He can't run, but whatever. Aaron Glenn will never get any forgiveness or any freaking pass for me, mainly because of this. The guy was an all-pro cornerback. Great. One of the best in the goddamn league. And the one position he can't develop or get to play properly is a defensive back. And that just drives me batshit crazy. It makes no sense, and that's why I think he's a bum.
I understand that, but at the same time, where I was going to say where I'm out on Glenn is what cornerback has he developed at corner?
Ruined Amani Warrior. Changes to a system that fits Jeff Okuda. Switched away from it. Ruins Jeff Okuda.
Players love him so much because he's a good at developing his relationship with players. But last year, we saw some dissension from players that said they loved him the year before. We saw Tracy Walker get into it with them. We saw who was it that went absolutely ape shit crazy on the sidelines because of Glenn?
I don't remember.
And then also Bugs. You got Bugs. You got him. You got there has been issues.
He's a very friendly guy.
No, it
They
wasn't a
like
great
him.
lie. It was one of our guys that came. Oh, it was Kirby Joseph. Remember, he blew up on the sideline. That's what it
Yep.
was.
So the thing with Aaron Glenn is he's just like this shit here. He'll talk to you like he's your friend. He doesn't talk to you as your superior, as your freaking boss. He doesn't get on their asses. He jokes around with them. But when they fuck up, he doesn't get on their asses either. So of course they're gonna like him because there's no consequences to it. There's no discipline. There's no rules.
Right, and that's the other thing because when the defense finally improved, it was at the end of the Chicago game after that embarrassing loss in Chicago. Dan Campbell said, "I'm going to put my hand on this defense." And I saw a drastic improvement. We got way more aggressive and everything else ever since that point. And everybody forgets that. That was the end of game presser from the Chicago game. That gives you the date to go back and look for it. All you got to do is look up the game and go watch the presser. AG got a mouth. Hard Knock showed that clearly. Yeah, absolutely. And fix the pass rush, and the DBs look way better. Absolutely as well. Lord. Still putting this all together, but with the current circumstances and narratives, it seems all likely Von Doom is not yet an enthusiastic AG supporter. Nor am I. I never have been. I was praying he would get a head coaching job.
I was praying he was taking that Washington job.
This year, no slack. Producer, you're gone. Yeah. Here's the thing. Everybody says on paper, we got way better on defense each year from one year to the next, talent wise. I'm just going by what every single draft scout guy people set up there. So we had the 32nd defense in 2021, which I expected it because of everybody we cut from the roster and what little bit of talent we had. They all started playing better in the scheme he was running that he announced at the beginning of the season, a 3-4 under. I understand, but at the same time, when the guys came back from injuries, Orlando, listen to me, hear me out here. When they came back from injuries, we played a lot better in that 3-4 under, running half man, half zone. Amani Oruwariye, who wasn't developed by Petrasha, let's just say it, looked like a top 10 corner at the time. Tied for the league in interceptions that year with 6. The next year, we get Aiden Hudson. We have an improved pass rush. We doubled the sack totals from the year before. Houston made a big difference in that too. The defense got way better on the run side, but stayed exactly the same in the passing defense, which is why we had the 27th defense and not better. This year, we went from a top 15 run defense the year before to a top 3, which tells you the talent is better on the team because you don't make that big of a leap without having better talent. Yet, we stayed as the 27th passing defense. So, say what you want. We've been really bad at passing defense the entire time. In a Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber cornerback should be able to coach it better than that.
I agree. And the other thing that bothers me about him is he does not put a scheme in place that benefits the players that he has there. He just puts a scheme in place and says, "This is what we got to do, and this is what I want." You had a 3-4 under team built for that. Why do you go to the 4-2-5? Because Buffalo didn't, and it worked for them. You don't have the talent Buffalo has at those outside positions.
Well, look at the beginning of last year, Steve. I'm going to exactly address this. We played 80% man, 20% zone at the beginning of the season. And Okuda was flourishing, but everybody else was failing because we had a whole bunch of zone corners on the team. Okuda was the only good press man coverage guy we had. Look at the Minnesota game week 3 when he held him to 3 catches and 14 yards on 14 targets.
Mm-hmm.
No touchdowns. That's one of the few games you can actually say that about Justin Jefferson. And yes, he did have help by over the top safeties, blah, 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 whatever. Underneath, he did his job. And then we switched to 80% zone while Okuda was hurt because we had no press man corners on the roster. And that makes perfect sense. But at the same time, when he came back, you didn't adjust to having the guy on your roster. That is a coaching failure.
And here's the other coaching failure. You had Oruwariye, who was one of the top corners in the league the year before, as his own cover guy. You fail him by going to the freaking man cover because that's not what he's good at. He wasn't good at it in Penn State or in the pros. So you ruined 2 guys, 1 stone.
In one season.
Yep. Like hell, AG may be a good guy. Probably gives Campbell a hell of a blowjob, but at the end of the day, he doesn't make the right fucking calls for his defense at that. He sticks to his ways. Sometimes you just got to be able to pivot and be fluid with stuff like that.
All right, it is that time when I got to start getting ready for work. It's time to talk about our sponsors. You know your favorite. It's everybody else is in the chats too. Put it up in the chat. It's FTP. It's not the florist. It's not free the puppy. It's not flog the porpoise. It's not flush the poopy.
Fly the porpoise.
Hey, what is it there, Leonard?
It's fuck the Packers.
Yes, it is. Steve loves that sponsor too. Play action burned us bad all season. Mobile quarterbacks burned us all bad all season because Aaron Glenn says I refuse to run a spy because I need the guy in coverage. Ugh. Ricky Scott, first one with an FTP in there. Thank you very much, Ricky. But at the same time, got to talk about my boy up in Saginaw, the best window tinner in the Tri-Cities, 99-443-9240, located at 409 Hamilton Street in Saginaw. Give them a call. Schedule your appointment to get your car tinted or your vehicle detailed. Both by appointment only. Mention this ad, he'll throw you a little deal. He says, "Oh no." I mean, it could be what's the movie. And of course, where I'm headed to here shortly. Brandon service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, right here in sunny Flint, Michigan. Give us a call. Check us out. We have great prices on used tires and can get you really good deals on new ones too. Don't forget to smash the like button. Subscribe. We're at 414 subscribers this morning. It's a great day to be a lion. Come on in. Check us out. We'll be live tonight with another mock draft Monday. We might do a little talk if there's something that breaks today, but more than likely it's mock draft Monday.
Mock draft one day.
Thanks for watching. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Unless you're talking to your rival fan base, then have a great day, everybody. Fade and neuter the rest of the NFC North fans.